characters I feel reveal too much right away, I do the opposite. The stories leave clues. I refuse to explain everything. I know my readers have a great deal of intelligence, so they understand that. There's interconnected reality where each of the stories, even though they take place in different timelines and different characters, they're all connected. I leave like little Easter eggs throughout the book, and then everything, all these hidden links are going to connect the characters, the situation. Sort of like it's been described as The King in Yellow by Robert Chambers. All of my literary heroes are dead. Most of them are ghosts by now, with the exception of one, which is Ramsey Campbell, who remains to be one of my favorite authors of all time. But The King in Yellow, Robert Chambers wrote in 1895, and Stitches kind of follows that lead where I scatter clues throughout each story, giving the reader the opportunity to kind of stitch every story together, find those clues, everything's weaved, and then it suggests a larger horror without fully revealing it. So basically, the book is definitely cosmic horror. And one of the stories in here really gives a larger clue than the rest, and I'm interested to hear what Donnie thinks after he reads it, because they're intentionally misordered. So they don't go in any type of order. It's more for the reader to go back, and I've had multiple people even reread the book and then catch it on the second time. Some people catch it on the first time. Some people come up with something completely different, which I think it's wonderful, because I know what it's about. I want to know what you think. I want to know your idea, because you're an active participant in this book. So that is what makes the book valuable. And really, honestly, there's a lot of strong visual imagery. I am not graphic for graphic's sake. While there is a lot of body horror, it has purpose. It's not just gore for gore's sake. There is a purpose to it. There's a reasoning for it. So again, if you're into like slashers and Art the Clown and things like that, this book is not for you. This is a slow burn. There's a lot of emotional aspects of the book that really kind of connect you to the characters, and you truly do feel for them. There's also a lot of, which goes back to our last conversations about, parents doing things that maybe they shouldn't be doing and leading children down into darker rabbit holes where they shouldn't be. But there's a lot of adult mistakes in this book that kind of mirror that upbringing that I had, that leads almost like a generational trauma and generational horror. So it's a very, very deep book. It really is. And it's hysterical, because my mother's quote is, "A very well-written collection. I will never be able to read all the way through. I can't. I'm sorry. It's too disturbing. I'm mentally affected." They put it on the book, which was kind of hysterical. That's it.
Wow. Now, what was the inspiration for the book, for you to write that book?
I've been writing this book for the last 20 years, and most of my stories have that same undercurrent, that same kind of dark cosmic theme. I love cosmic horror. Lovecraft, you can't see it. If I turn this around, I have a 5-foot custom oil painting of Lovecraft with tentacles and stuff right over there.
Oh, okay, okay.
I don't know if you guys can see it. Probably not. Probably so. I don't know.
Isn't that creature, what's that creature's name?
Oh, beautiful.
It starts with C.
We can see it.
It starts with C-H-U.
Cthulhu?
Huh?
Cthulhu?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, a lot of inspiration came from Lovecraft. Lovecraft, a lot of inspiration came from Ramsey Campbell. When I was young, I read Clive Barker's Books of Blood, which actually one reviewer said it reminded them of Clive Barker's series, The Books of Blood, which was really nice nod to that. But I started writing probably this book around 20 years ago, and then I finally just I was like, you know what, I curated a whole bunch of stories that I believe all fit together, and then I went back and I kind of added and took away and edited, and I fit everything together in one neat little package. But I have hundreds of short stories that have been published. I was fortunate enough to be on the honorary mention list of World's Best Horror with Ellen Datlow. I came up in time with Jack Ketchum, who was a phenomenal author, Peter Straub. Me, Jack Ketchum, and Peter Straub were at the Horror Writers Convention, and everybody was absolutely blown away that I was a female because my identity was hidden. And so I've been writing a long time, but this book really just, I had to get something out.
How many books do you have published?
This is my first book, but I am like a lover of short fiction. I love short stories. Writing in long fiction right now is kind of difficult for me. It's harder to do that, but I do have a novel coming out soon. But I've probably been published in 50 to 80 publications of short stories. I've always gotten paid professional rates, though very lucky in that respect. I'm part of the Horror Writers Association, so I'm an affiliate member, which means I have to sell a certain amount of stories at professional rates to retain that status. And I'm proud to say I've retained that status for about 25 years.
Oh, nice.
Taco money.
And you got another book coming out. What's that book gonna be about?
All right. Well, whereas short fiction is my favorite, long fiction is like, and I've mentioned it before, is like running through a field and you have all these things that you could do and say, and you have all this time. Writing short fiction is claustrophobia. So, we got an echo.
I apologize. I accidentally pressed. I'm trying to send a message to the Instagram, so
That's
I apologize.
okay.
I was trying to get a
I'll remove that, Danielle. I'll remove it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yep. So writing
They're
short
sending
fiction
us
is.
questions.
Oh.
Thank you so much. I should.
Uh-oh. Now, Danielle, you're freezing again. So, Fig is going to be, it's a novel. It's a world ender, a world bender. It is absolutely...
We have a very bad storm. We have a very bad storm. We actually have, they said that we're gonna have more rain than we will have in 3 months. So my sub pump, because we have a house of 3 levels, was actually flooded this morning. So it was pretty bad. We cleaned it now, but we are not the only one. But if you type in a place where I live, Edmonton, Alberta, it's saying it's rainy like crazy. So I'm sorry if I come in and out. Internet is connected, everything is not done on purpose. So if I disconnect, then I'll then connect back on my phone. But I shut off my phone because we were getting 2 questions from the Instagram, and then I accidentally, instead of putting it on a hold to go connect, if I get disconnected here, and I answered there. So I deeply apologize for that. Not done on purpose.
So basically, the novel is like Indiana Jones meets Evil Dead meets 28 Days Later. It takes place in England. There's a cast of characters that dig up something completely unwanted, not just the ire of the Salisbury Society, but they just dig up something that changes the fabric of the universe. And the The title of it is Thig, Thig, which means to beg in, I think it's Scottish. So that's coming out. I'm probably going to have that novel completed. I'm almost done. I'm at like 65,000 words. So I figure in another 2 months I'll have it complete.
You know, when I was a kid, about 8 years old, I was writing a diary, but I didn't know it. But every day I would write something in there. And my mother came over to me and she goes, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I'm just writing." And she looks at me, she goes, "You're writing a diary." So I've always been hooked on writing. And that's where I write a lot of stories in magazines. I write a lot of books and everything else. Did that same, what I experienced as a child, did you experience as a child where you just were compelled to write?
Absolutely. It is something, and I'll say it again, authors are haunted people. We are haunted. Yes. We have got this entire cast of characters, these souls that are just trapped in our imagination and our psyche, and it's almost like imperative. You have to get the story down. We don't know who they are. We're going to put them through horrific things. They basically write themselves, and Paul, I'm sure you know, as you're writing a character, you don't really have a comprehensive understanding, at least I don't, and then once I start writing that story, they tell me everything I need to know. So really, our heads are filled with ghosts. I mean, we are just a haunted people. And it is imperative. You have to. And like, to your point, like when you were 8, I remember when I was a little girl and we had a, well, other than a haunted house, we had a cast iron stove. And I was probably Paul's age, like 6 or 8, and I had said to my mother, I said, wouldn't it be interesting if the doors kind of poofed open and there was a whole breath of just ash that came out. And in my head, I envisioned these hooves, like a satanic hoof, like coming out and burning hoof prints into the floor. I was a little kid. So for me to have that kind of thought in my head and then write it down on paper, like you, Paul, I wasn't writing a diary. I was writing, there was always some sort of horror. We joke around, we say we have a horror gene. The Helix have a horror gene, for sure.
I have a question for you, Miss J. Yeah. They also say trauma leaves a little bit of imprint on all of us.
Probably.
When you talk about, your past and you talk about what happened, to you as a child, basically what you experienced, I also found it very traumatic. I'm going to go from the medical experience and from my studies. So I think you expressing yourself through the pen and paper and sharing this with the rest of the world was helping you to get rid of whatever was hunting you and these creatures. I know sometimes it's very, very hard for parents to accept such a hard mistakes, and I don't blame them because it's not their fault. Maybe sometimes it's not their fault. Sometimes maybe they're trying to do the best they can, especially if they have another, partner or whoever is doing something and the other one couldn't protect them, or they were single parents, or they were acting as a single parent because the other one didn't care. There's many different, ways the child can be raised. So when you put that in your book, I would like to know, did you feel relieved? Did you feel, okay, finally the world can see what I felt, what I did feel and experience? That would be my major question, because I cannot wait to have your book in my hands. I am an old traditional soul. I like book in a paper, they go like, oh, I like the digital books, but I like even when I go and do my conferences and whatever, I always have my paper in my bags. It's just the way it goes. I love digital world, don't get me wrong, but I like also my real feeling of a book. So how did you feel when you did express all of those experiences to pen and paper? Did you feel relieved?
Okay, so this is going to be a very strange answer. I wrote the whole book. My girlfriend read it, and she said, man, there's a theme. Did you notice there's a lot of kids in your book, that the adults make these terrible mistakes? You know what? You're right. But as far as relief goes, I think it was as conscious. I think it came out like as a subconscious thing, because I always feel, even in cosmic horror in and of itself, it uses a lot of children. If you look at like a lot of the stories, they usually use children, because I feel like most people